Hello, and welcome to this session on supporting product innovation with a platform integration strategy. My name is Gabriel, and I work as a director of product management at TNS with a global responsibility over what we call the Connect portfolio of products. My experience has been mostly in multinational telecommunication companies, and I have experience in having managed and launched products in different areas like connectivity, networking, security, SD-WAN, and cloud. The agenda for today's presentation, I want to talk about a specific success story, if you want, for our customer portal, which we call TNSOnline. I want to start by establishing the context. I think it's important to comment on who we are and what we do, then try to define the challenge, which in this case I'm calling supporting customer innovation and growth. And I want to talk about a little bit of the, some of the things that we hear from our customers and what are the challenges they face, what are the requirements, and how that translates to our business. Then in trying to address those challenges and to provide solutions, what are the things that we understood that needed to change? That's what I'm calling the legacy or the old ways. What's the proposed solution, which is the how it started, and also talking about how Netreo not only fits within this proposed solution, but is also a key player. And then talk about where we're at today, what happened after we implemented this proposed solution, and also what's coming in the future, okay? So TNS is a global provider of infrastructure as a service solution. Specifically, I work in what's the payments division within TNS. As you can see, we do business in 60 countries, literally all over the world. I myself am based in Fort Lauderdale in the United States, but we do have people all over the world with 4 global NOCs. And the focus of the payments division is basically enterprise retailers, ATM deployers, financial institutions, and processors all over the world. What we do is the way we define it is we help accept any type of payments across any device and across any network. So we try to provide an integrated solution by putting together 3 solution portfolios that we call accept, connect, and orchestrate. Accept has to do with the interaction with the end user and the acceptance of the transaction. Orchestrate has to do with the processing of the transaction, and connect is what brings those two together by integrating with the customer location, with the end user, and what basically provides the foundation for the other portfolios to work as well. And we've been in business for more than 30 years. We process 35 billion of transactions a year, and one of the things that we like to say, and this is why the integration subject is so important to us, is that we are 100% carrier agnostic and partner agnostic as well. So really, integration is and has always been part of TNS's DNA, right? In another very, very important thing, our core network is PCI DSS level 1 certified, which makes sense because of how many transactions we process, and we have established connections with more than 250 partners in the payments ecosystem, including payments processors, merchants, and several data centers all over the world. In terms of the Connect portfolio and what we call the managed connectivity and security services, and this is how I start to define the core of this presentation. And I want to talk about a specific use case which has to do with our customer portal. So what you're seeing here is a summary view of our product portfolio, of the Connect portfolio, which has to do with integrating certain types of devices and certain types of services that normally reside at a customer location, like kiosks, ATMs, POSs. This is normally in a setting of, for example, a multi-site retail or a financial institution where we're talking about thousands of these devices across hundreds or thousands of locations. Most times even across different countries. So it's very important that we're able to standardize the visibility into what's happening at each one of these locations, and integrating different types of connectivity, multiple carriers, multiple types of connectivities as well. It could be wired, it could be wireless. As you can imagine, the variety is pretty wide, across the world. And then everything at some point comes back to our core network, and through our core network is distributed to acquirers, processors, issuers, customer private data centers, and any third-party host that's required depending on the specific solution. And at the end of the day, everything comes back to a single pane of glass experience for our customers in our TNSOnline portal. The TNSOnline portal provides visibility into all the components and all the aspects of the service. And what you're seeing here on the slide is the new TNSOnline. And that's what I want to talk about in this presentation, how this new TNSOnline came to be, and what were the decisions and the challenges that we had to face and overcome eventually to get to having a new TNSOnline in production. And also, I'm going to talk about how Netreo is part and continues to be part of this transformation journey, right? So when we talk about the challenge of supporting customer innovation and growth, obviously, as a company that's been in business for 30 years, this is not new for TNS, but these challenges have evolved over time. And that's why the need for a new TNSOnline came to be, right? Because the market dynamics changed. Those new market dynamics involve new challenges for our customers, and those customer challenges become basically business requirements for TNS. So we're in a constant struggle to keep up, which is a good challenge, a happy challenge to have. And what needs to change is how we address those challenges and what we need to do to actually stay ahead of the curve, to future-proof our business, and to be able to support our customers in their own challenges. And some of the things that we've seen over the last couple of years is, for example, with the hybrid work environments, that drives new security requirements, which in turn involves different ways of connecting to our networks, different international, local, and regional standards that need to be taken into account. Geographic expansion, the growth and the velocity at which customers need to enable new locations also involves challenges in the empowerment of local resources, in taking actions, in enabling more self-service, more autonomy, for the customer and for different types of third parties to enable allocation and less dependency on, centralized resources to be able to take action faster. More and more, we've seen that the connectivity, for example, in retail, it's well known that one of the things that customers value is Wi-Fi connectivity, the speed, for checking out, the ability to have a seamless experience when they're in a retail store. That in turn creates customer challenges, and many of those services and I would say all of those transactions end up going through our network. So for something like a customer portal like TNSOnline, it becomes very important to be able to provide real-time information to allow the customer to troubleshoot and to detect any issue very, very quickly, to be able to determine where a specific issue is, what's the component that that needs to be reviewed, if a component eventually needs to be replaced, to have I would say real-time interaction with our network operation centers to manage travel tickets as fast as possible, and when they need to engage with a vendor, to have all the information available again in real time, so that the disruption is as small as possible. And in our case, we're very used to designing our networks and our implementations with high availability components and total redundancy. So most times it's just about being able to provide the information so that our customers can focus where they need to focus. Sometimes it's a third party, sometimes it's a system, sometimes it's a hardware component, and those are all things that we have been improving and incorporating to TNSOnline over time. But I think in over the last couple of years, we realized that what we needed to do was to really redefine the complete user experience around TNSOnline, to enable interfaces for different types of devices, and to enable interfaces for different types of resources within a customer, including third parties, like, for example, installers. So some of the things that we needed to change, and some of the challenges that we faced when doing that, was we realized that we needed to replace legacy solutions. So like I said, the services and the components, and specifically TNSOnline, grew over time. There was a lot of in-house development that went into the previous version of TNSOnline, and we realized that the speed at which we needed to react to the customer demands had dramatically changed. So one of the strategic decisions that we made was, we need to move from development to configuration as much as possible, so that whenever we needed to spend or apply development resources, we had to be sure that it was for core business functionality, so that we could rely on platforms as much as possible and focus the resources on core business functionality for, to maximize the speed at which we could, release new features and make them available for customers. And in turn, that took us through a journey where we realized that what we needed to focus on the technology stack first and think about the front end later, meaning that we were very, very clear on what type of customer and user experience we needed to provide. But in order to get to that, we needed to have a strong vision and a strong architecture for the technology stack, because starting by the front end only makes the same thing look better. But at the end of the day, you're not future proofing the business. You're just putting a band-aid, and that's not what we wanted to do. The other thing that we thought about when thinking about the technology stack was, how do we enable automation, but automation, starting with a vision. So normally when you get on a project as big as this, you're not going to get everything you want from day one. But if you don't design with the end vision in mind, it probably means you're never going to get it. So we knew that we weren't going to have end-to-end automation, on the first version of the new TNSOnline, but we designed for it so that over time it was going to be easier to incorporate new components and to keep working towards that end-to-end automation. And last but not least, this is a very important point. We are always keeping a focus on differentiation, meaning that every single feature that we make available, every decision that we make, even in the back end, right, is always focused on how can we improve the customer experience? How can we improve the user experience? How can we make our service different, and how can we make our service better? And this is something that's really, I would say, also part of our DNA, and that drives every single decision that we've made, and that we're going to continue to make, not only around TNSOnline, but really, our whole product portfolio. So the solution that we proposed to achieve this vision has different components, and I don't want to go into each one of the components, because really the important thing is how we conceptually decided that we are going to have a completely redesigned backend and a completely redesigned technology stack. In this case, for example, we thought about what are the core business functions and what are the things where we can rely on a platform. And I think that Netreo is a great example where, we discovered that we didn't need to develop the monitoring components of the back end. And so with Netreo, we replaced several legacy platforms, in-house developments, and we managed to really standardize how we monitor all of our technology solutions and how we hand over that information to not only TNSOnline, but also to any other system that might require that information. In fact, when we started this project, we knew that one of the requests, and requirements from our customer was to be able to have an external API, so that those customers that made an investment in a monitoring tool and maybe didn't want to have TNSOnline as a separate interface than their monitoring tool interfaces, could embed that information into their own tools. And one of the things that Netreo helped us to achieve was leveraging the same information, so that we didn't have to duplicate any effort in launching the new TNSOnline UI and the external API. And basically, looking at this at this chart, hopefully it's clear that we have a component that I'm calling here the internal API for simplicity, where we develop the business logic that is specific to TNS, and where there's no platform in the world, I would say, that could give us that, because that's our our secret sauce, right? Our core business logic. But everything where everything that's not it, basically, can come from a platform, and we can integrate that, in a transparent fashion through orchestration. So we get, maximum flexibility. We get standardization, because we know that all these components are going to talk to each other. So, we have the API integration as a mandatory standard moving forward. And and another very good thing about this architecture is that if at some point we, find a better device management system, and we need to replace a component, then that doesn't affect the rest of the system. So we can have different teams with different focus making progress in parallel, and the whole system keeps working. A little bit about how it's going. I would say that I call this a success story, and I want to try to refer to data as much as possible. We were able to have this new TNSOnline UI developed, integrated with Netreo, and launched in almost 9 months. In fact, this is another very interesting thing that with a legacy approach would have been impossible. Throughout this process, we decided to enable a new technology vendor that was not in the original scope, and it took less than 4 weeks since, we defined the requirements, we agreed on a statement of work with Netreo, and we had a working proof of concept that we could integrate in our workflow. So, even with version 1, we're already seeing the benefits and the change to our business on, how fast we can make improvements. The external API, so we focused first on launching the user interface, and now on our next release, we're launching the external API, which required almost no software development by this capability that Netreo and the orchestration layer enables for us in reutilizing the information and the standardization. So basically, we just define what the external endpoints are, and that's pretty much it. We're going to have that available with a very minimum amount of work in our next release. Also, when we look at the roadmap for TNSOnline, 100% is new features, because we don't have any legacy components. We don't have to spend a lot of resources on maintenance and adapting to new standards. We really have a strong focus on innovation, customer experience, and we're able to talk to customers and get from them what is that they need, what is that they would want to see, and then our roadmap is 100% customer driven, 100% innovation driven. And the last point that I wanted to call out here in terms of how it's going is there's been overall a dramatic increase in productivity. We still keep adding more resources, but their focus has changed. They're not as focused on maintenance right now. They're focused on development. Where we have an integration opportunity, we take it, so that now our development is 100% focused on core business logic. Those things that, again, no platform in the world is going to give us, because they are the secret sauce of our business. And that's what, closes the loop or closes the circle in terms of giving us the speed and the flexibility that we need to take our business forward. By no means this is the end. This is only the beginning. There is much more to come, and again, I truly believe this is a success story in working with Netreo and the other technology partners that are part of this architecture. As I would say, we have a completely new redesigned system, not just the front end, but the back end as well, in production. We customers utilizing it in record time. But more than that, we also have a platform for growth, a platform for the future, with a very strong roadmap focused in innovation. And obviously, we keep counting on Netreo to stay with us on this journey, along with our customers and partners. So thank you very much, and I'll hand it over to the moderator, and obviously that's my contact information, and I'm staying on for any questions. Thank you very much.